So how can you become a top performer? Someone who's taking massive action, creating massive results, and showing up on an entirely different level? The answer to that is you get incredible at leading yourself. Some people call this self-coaching or self-leadership, but we're going to teach you the process of how to do that today. Now, we need to go much deeper than surface level because becoming a top performer is not something that generally happens automatically. That's right. Today, we're going into your subconscious mind. We want to reprogram some of the thoughts and beliefs so you can start to show up as the top performer like I know you can be. Now, the reason why this is important is because just like Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. So today, let's bring some things to your conscious mind to help you become that top level performer.
So why is becoming a top performer so hard sometimes? Because there are things that are holding us back, mindsets and beliefs that sometimes we're not aware of. However, people who are performing at a top level embrace some of the challenges that present themselves when we're trying to step up to that higher level. Like Marc said, you have to become aware of some of those things that are popping up for you. But when you're a top performer, you understand that you're always going to have things that pop up that try to hold you back. However, you step into those challenges, you embrace them, and then you make them your superpower.
That's great, Marc and Teresa, but what do I need to actually do? Stop. Don't get ahead of yourself. Remember, if we want to be able to change something, we have to become more aware of it. And if there's things that are potentially sabotaging your success, we want to first remove the block from that so that you can open up the floodgates of results. Now, we need to first start out with the purpose of our brain. There's two primary reasons that we're going to talk about here today. The first one is it's meant to keep you safe, meaning anytime something new comes up, something you've never done before, that you don't know what the outcome is, it's going to try and prevent you from stepping in and taking those actions. It's going to throw everything it can at you because that's what it was designed to do. But as a high performer, you know that. And when you feel it, instead of backing down, you actually lean in, just like Teresa said. Now, the second purpose of the brain is to automate things. It's to make things much easier, because can you imagine what it would be like if you had to think about every time you had to brush your teeth and what you had to do to be able to accomplish that mission? Well, it would consume your life. And that's why the brain will help you by automating those things. But unfortunately, if it's automating some of the things that are keeping you safe, then you're going to see that you're going to be in this perpetual cycle of spinning over and over and over again. And that's why high performers understand this, and they know when it's time to lean in instead of leaning back. Let me give you a few examples. If you feel like you're a great leader, how are you going to show up in the world? But how about if you believe that you suck at it? You're probably going to show up on an entirely different level. What happens if you're starting to talk about your business and you have this thought of like, I don't know how to sell? You see, all of these beliefs are meant to keep you safe. They're going to prevent you from even having that conversation in the first place. But the great opportunity is, if you lean in anyway, you know there's only two possible outcomes. Either you're going to succeed at it or you're going to learn and grow. And that's how high performers think.
So how do we figure out how these beliefs are formed so we can actually create new beliefs? Because when you have new beliefs, you'll start performing at a much higher level. So number one is repetition. Like Marc said, your mind will automate certain habits. And the same thing goes for these beliefs. The thoughts that you have about yourself are automated. So when you think about them over and over and over again, they just become a part of you. And that belief is ingrained in your mind. The other way is emotional experiences. It only takes one emotional experience to have a set belief. It could be when you decided to give a speech and you forgot what you were supposed to say and you felt embarrassed. Now you believe that you're not a great speaker because that experience was so traumatic.
I love that example. So how do we get past these kind of things? Well, first, we become aware of them, which is what we're doing for you here today. We're bringing things from the unconscious into the conscious so that you can deal with them and make those adjustments. Then we have to create enough repetition and enough emotional experiences that will help us create new beliefs that are in alignment with our mission of becoming a top performer. Now, inside of our life coach certification, we teach this process called head versus heart. Now, we don't have time to teach you all of that in this video. It's a 3-month certification program. But I do want to simplify it because I want you to see that there's a battle that you're in every single day. So living inside of you is two different voices, your head voice and your heart voice. Your head voice we kind of talked about before. It's trying to keep you in the past. It's trying to keep you stuck. It's going to throw fear, scarcity, judgment, shame, humiliation, anything it can into the mix to prevent you from taking the actions you know you need to take. But there's a second voice, and it's the voice of your heart. It generally doesn't speak as loud as your head because remember, your head was programmed to keep you alive. But where your heart comes in is for the potential of the future. It gives you hope. It talks about abundance, about love, about purpose, about potential, as well as faith. Now, our goal as top performers is to turn down the volume of your head and turn up the volume of your heart. So how do you know which one is controlling your life? I want you to think about this. When a situation happens outside of you, let's say you're about to get on a call, you're about to give a speech, you're about to have a conversation with a potential customer. Where does your brain go? Does it go down the path of, I'm going to say the wrong thing? This person is not going to join me. This is a waste of my time. Or does your brain go, this is going to be a great opportunity. I'm going to help change this person's life forever. I'm the exact person that they need in their life right now. Now, don't get frustrated if your brain goes immediately to your head. Remember, that's what it's meant to do. But now that you're aware of it, asking yourself a really powerful question, which is what we do as life coaches, will help you get into your heart. My favorite question for that is, what about what you're about to do is important or meaningful to you, to your family, and to the world? So if you have a business and you're trying to make sales, or you're a police officer and you're about to go on a search warrant, you want to ask yourself, what about that thing is very important to you, your family, and the world? And when you can tap into your heart and turn up that volume, over time, it's kind of like changing the direction of a battleship. You do it slowly over time, and before you know it, you now have a different belief system and you're getting yourself to perform on a much higher level. So while you're in the process of becoming a top performer, you're going to have this constant battle of head versus heart. What we found more than not is that people who do rise up and become high performers, they're the ones who are more willing to lean into their heart and reframe their head so they can get themselves to take more action and make more impact. Now, notice I didn't say that they still don't have head voices. Everybody has a head voice. It's how quickly you reframe it and lean into the voice of your heart that will have you back to performing and standing out above the crowd. Now, I have a lot of people who understand this head versus heart, and it gets them to perform on an entirely different level. And they start asking me, Mark, how do I get my team to perform at this level? I say that's easy. You just teach them everything that you learned in order to become that top performer. Literally, all you have to do is send them this video. Let them understand what unconsciously is driving them so they can put their hands on the steering wheel and become the top performers that they can be too. And if you're somebody who was sent this video, definitely thank the person who sent it. Now, you might get to this point and wonder, Mark, what are some ways that I can hack into my heart voice on days where my head seems to be controlling the show? Don't worry, we got you covered. Tap the screen to watch this next video. This is where I share my favorite leadership affirmations that help me go out and crush it every single day. Pick the affirmations that connect most to you, and above all, keep leading from the front.